did you start your business to be free from a boss or corporate world, or was it for you to be free and pursue excellence? Start us off, Steve.
First of all, I just want to comment that I'm concerned that you addressed Chris as my main man. I knew it was suspect when you were walking in with the U cap, you know. But it is what it is.
Yeah, shout out my boy Potter, man. That's my guy. Man.
Where's my buzzer?
I got into this business to be free from a boss, to be free from the corporate world. It didn't take very long for me to realize that I am unemployable. Having a boss telling me what needs to be done didn't work for me. I worked at Intel, where one of the core values was disagree and commit, meaning you do what you were told to do, even if you disagree with management. And I never followed that. I never got written up, but I did not do a very good job of listening to or following direction. So for me personally, I got into working for myself because A, I could not have a boss, and B, I wanted to make a lot of money. Those were the reasons why I decided to go off on my own.
I'm absolutely shocked by this breaking news that you were not a rule follower over at Intel. All right, next up, Jimmy, what about you? Free from the corporate world, or are we looking to pursue some excellence over there?
This was my first question contribution, and so this kind of came from Steve's talk at CG this week. You did a great job on that talk, Steve, but I definitely, like Steve, was in the corporate world, and I want to start my own business, not so much because I hated my boss, but I hated getting taxed as an employee. I could not stand giving up half of my income to the government, and sure, having a boss sucked too. But then, as the longer the business goes on, the more I see it like as the ability. What excites me is the ability to get better, to get the team better, to get myself better. And then when I was in like this tweener period where, I just want to sit on the beach and drink Mai Tais and not have a boss, like my business really sucked. So once I was able to kind of change my view in that, hey, all of these mistakes we're making, we're getting better. And that at the end of the day, this is just a constant iteration of trying to get better and pursue excellence. I started having a lot more fun as a business owner.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Our next person is no stranger to a 9-to-5. What about you, RJ? Corporate world, or are we looking to be excellent?
First of all, my first answer today is sponsored by Fireball Single Whiskey. Want to throw that out there. Listen, I dedicated 8 years of my life to working a job. I got promoted 3 times along the way. I had a gentleman from corporate show up and tell me that I should have never been promoted, and I was an overpaid shift manager. That pretty much ended any chance of me ever working for someone ever again. So I guess if I have to pick one, it would say to avoid the corporate world. But the reality is it's kind of both. I mean, I also wanted to achieve excellence because I wasn't going to be able to do that at any job that I was going to be at. So I think the motivation came from the boss of the corporate world. But really at the end of the day, it was also just to achieve the excellence that I wanted in my life.
All right. Way to take both parts of the question and go ahead and just smush them together. Really appreciate that there. Shout out to Fireball as well for that answer. All right, CJ, next up. What about you, boss?
A little bit of both, man. I mean, look, I failed out of college, barely got out of high school because I was playing sports all day, chasing girls, not focused at all, and just lack of options, man. I mean, I was making $15 an hour sitting working in a call center, and you read Forbes magazine, and people tell you how much money you can get, doing real estate, man. So I jumped into real estate, wanted to study it, learn it. Did end up in college at the time and studying real estate, urban land development, and realized that I was going to school to be taught how to get a job, to go work for somebody that would never pay me enough to be their neighbor. So why would I do that versus going out, figuring out on my own, working for myself? And now I'm their neighbor, man, in the neighborhood acting crazy, cutting up, man. And they're like, who is this guy that lives in our neighborhood? How did he get in here? So, I started it because I wanted to make some money, man. I didn't have any resources.